your physical location. It's really how you are using your mind. So again, if you are in Hawaii, like with all the sea and the nature and the stars, etc., but you spend 20 hours inside your flat working on a computer, then you see you are going to be imbalanced anyway, so, because you are not really benefiting from the contact with nature. Yeah, but for sure, if you are balancing things,
okay, Bismillah. Shall I go first, or perhaps Sheikh Hamza?
Doctor, I'm going to go first.
Okay, so I've written a few articles about AI and Islam. As you can tell from my background, I am primarily approaching it from a theological, philosophical, religious perspective. I'm not a specialist in AI. I did used to be a programmer way back in the day, so that's my, I might have a bit of technical expertise, but I know the field has progressed way beyond where it was when I left it. So I don't want to make any claims to expertise where it's not there. My primary approach has been more on the theological issues. So if I had to summarize in 30 seconds-ish or less what the main themes I've come up with, first of all, one thing I've noticed is that a lot of the dialogue on artificial intelligence and theology, or just artificial intelligence in general, in the popular media, in the English-speaking world, so what we see in English, primarily is relating to a couple of religious/cultural paradigms, which lead to a sort of fear of artificial intelligence. If I can coin a phrase I heard today, that its tentacles are grabbing us and reaching out to us. There's a sense that there's something big and scary coming that's going to be a giant threat, which is not entirely unjustified. We would all agree that there are potential risks in what might be developed with respect to artificial intelligence. We obviously don't have to think very far to come up with that. And there are things that are happening presently that are not good, for lack of a more eloquent word. So I get that. But there is this broader narrative of fear that is surrounding it, which I don't think necessarily comes up when we look at it from a purely Islamic perspective. And that's because even if we want to say the West is secular or multicultural, there are, before my time, so they're not my ideas. One of them is the fear of idolatry, which, although as Muslims we do share that, I've met actually no Muslims who really have a fear of robots as idolatry or artificial intelligence or computers. Now, there might be some Muslims with that concern, but there is a deeply entrenched cultural viewpoint in basically Christianate cultures that this will somehow lead to evil and destruction. And we see it a lot in science fiction that's coming out in the mass media. I'm not necessarily talking about specialists, but even then it certainly does appear in specialist theological writings. And then the ancient Greek notion of hubris, that if we try to overstep the gods or create the gods, we'll be destroyed. That's also come into our culture from the ancient Greek heritage. By our culture, I mean English language culture. But both of these considerations in this particular form, in my view, are not really part of the Islamic heritage. Although we've received many things from the ancient Greek philosophical tradition, hubris as an evil to be feared, in my view, does not seem to have percolated into our religious culture. And we tend to
Day-to-day, the things that I do is to record neurons in mammalian brains and relate them to certain tasks. So how do these neurons allow us to solve these different tasks? How do they fire in relation to the things that we see and to the things that we do? And we can kind of, we've now got the technology to sort of peer into the very detailed activity of each neuron, all the ones and zeros that these neurons are emitting, and say something about the algorithms that they use to generate intelligent behavior. And so that's what I do in my sort of day-to-day work, and and these are the questions that I think about. And there's two broad aspects to it. About their work compared to what humans are capable of doing. Is a neural network able to generate its own goals, for example? We know humans can. And so, I look forward to hearing a lot more from the speakers and from the audience about these issues today and in upcoming discussions as well.
Speak of the audience, do you have any comments about what Paris said so far? Yeah, if you have questions from the audience, from the Zoom. Yeah, Nassim, do you want to talk more? Or?